Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something that has basically defined the modern internet. Why are we all so completely obsessed with cats?
So, just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, let's rewind the clock to 2015. Even way back then, you had more than 2 million cat videos on YouTube alone. And you know that number has just exploded since then. It's a digital empire built by cats. And it's not just the sheer number of videos, it's how many people were watching. Get this, each one of those videos, on average, pulled in 12,000 views. That was a higher average than any other content category on the entire platform. Just wild.
Yeah, with numbers like that, it's really no surprise that some people started calling the domestic cat the unofficial mascot of the internet. And let's be honest, can you really argue with that? It totally fits.
Okay, so that's the what. But what about the why? What is it about their funny, strange, and super cute behavior that just hooks us? Why can't we seem to look away? Well, the answer goes way deeper than just, oh, they're cute. The real reason is actually hardwired right into their DNA. See, to really get why we love watching them, you have to understand that you're not just living with a pet, you're living with a hunter. Think about it. Pretty much every single one of those things your cat does that makes you laugh or just makes you scratch your head, the pouncing, the chasing, those sudden crazy bursts of energy, it all comes from one place, their innate drive to be a predator. Yeah, there's actually a name for this. Vets and animal behaviorists call it the predatory sequence. And it's exactly what it sounds like, a series of instinctual steps, a kind of program that's just baked into what it means to be a cat. It doesn't matter if it's a lion on the savannah or your fluffy cat on the couch. And this sequence has a few key parts. First, you've got the stalk. Super quiet, very focused. Then comes the chase. And finally, you get the grand finale, the pounce and grab, and even that little swatting motion with their paws that looks so much like they're just playing around. So how does all this hunter stuff actually show up in our day-to-day lives with our cats? Well, it all boils down to one word: play. Because here's the secret. When your cat is playing, it's not just goofing around, it's training. I bet you've seen both of these scenes a million times, right? On one side, you have that adorable kitten just laser focused on a toy mouse. But on the other, yeah, we all know that moment when the play suddenly gets a little too real and your hand becomes the target. And this right here is probably one of the biggest points of confusion for cat owners. So how can you tell the difference? When is it just healthy practice hunting fun? And when is it tipping over into something more serious? It's all about learning to read the signs. When it's play, their body's gonna be kind of loose and bouncy, The claws are in, and if they bite, it's more like a gentle mouthing. But real aggression, that's a whole different story. The body gets stiff, the claws are out, the bites hurt, and you're gonna hear it, hissing, growling, the whole deal. Okay, so once you get that idea, that play equals hunting practice, stuck in your head, it's like a key. It unlocks the meaning behind all those other famously weird cat behaviors we see all over the internet. For instance, the zoomies. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment out of absolutely nowhere, your cat just goes nuts, sprinting around the house at top speed, bouncing off the furniture like a pinball. What on earth is going on there? Well, behaviorists have a term for that too. It's called a vacuum activity. It's basically all that pent-up predatory energy just exploding out. I mean, an indoor cat doesn't get to actually hunt for real, but the instinct, the energy for it is still there. It has to go somewhere, and zoom. All right, so what about that other classic cat move? The one where they slowly, deliberately push your glass of water right off the edge of the table. Usually while looking you dead in the eye. They're not just being jerks, they're actually practicing the final steps of that predatory sequence, the swatting and the pawing. They're using their incredibly sensitive paws to test things out. Is this thing prey? Does it move? Is it alive? It's actually a pretty smart way of exploring their world. Okay, so we've established we're all living with these tiny, adorable apex predators. So what do I do with that information? How can we use it to make our cats happier, healthier, and maybe, just maybe, save a few of our belongings from getting knocked over? Just think about this for a second. A cat living outside would spend more than 3 hours every single day on hunting-related activities. Your indoor cat has that exact same programming, so it's really up to us to give them a healthy outlet for that drive.
And the way to do that is to build a better habitat for them. You've got to give them places to climb and jump. Think vertical space. You can create chances for them to hunt their food, like hiding it around the house. They need little spots where they can hide and feel safe, where they can see what's going on without being seen. Oh, and use toys that act like prey, the ones that flutter and bounce around unpredictably. And this isn't just about objects. Even when you see cats playing with each other, that is super important practice. It's how they learn not to bite too hard, how to have some self-control. They're basically honing their predatory skills on each other, but in a safe way. Which brings us right back to where we started. Every cute pounce, every quirky chase we love watching online is really just a little glimpse into the mind of a hunter. So the next time you dangle a string for your cat, it's worth asking yourself, are you playing with your predator? Or have you just become the practice?